And now, you're tuned into Tampa Bay's RBLR Sports.
Hi, hello, how are ya? My name is Liz. This is not Tom DePinto. This is Eureka Wheeler. Super producer Eureka Wheeler is joining us today because Tom is unfortunately away. Well, not unfortunate for us. It's fortunate for his mom because he's visiting his mom.
Hell yeah.
Hi, Mr. Pinto.
Shout out, Mom. We love you.
You may not watch this one because Tom's not on it, but if he does, hi. We love you.
We love you, Mom. Yeah, we love you, Mom.
So Eureka, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. I think all of us have had a hell of a week, including the players and people that have been on late flights and early mornings and late nights and everything like that. But all things considered, I am doing amazing. My son is doing amazing. My wife is doing amazing. So we're all doing amazing, Liz.
That's good. That's great. I'm doing okay.
Come on now.
We're going. Oh,
come on. Get back in here. Get back in here.
Right.
Reel you back in.
Yes. We're hanging on. It's Friday when we're recording because of things, unfortunately. But it's at least it's Friday and fun things are happening on Saturday, so I'm excited.
We've had a lot of time to sit in this loss, though.
We do a little bit longer than long because it's good recovery time. We'll be good and fresh for our next game. But also, I would like to see some better soccer now.
I would have liked to get this out of my system a lot earlier in the week, but I'm less frustrated than I was on Saturday night, Sunday morning. But now with the hindsight and the being able to look over it for another 5 extra days, I think we have a lot to get into on this game. And sort of with a week off, I think we also can take a moment to sort of give some little bigger picture takes. And there's been some big picture takes around the league, some things that I'm sure we'll get into before we get out of here.
For sure. But make sure that you subscribe, and click all the thingy things so that you never ever miss an update, no matter when we post it. And who knows when that will be, but hopefully it's usually Wednesdays, except for this time. But it's okay. Don't worry about it. Make sure that you follow us at RBLR Sun FC. And I think it's at RBLR Sports on the YouTubes. Yes. So make sure you click all the buttons.
Almost 450 strong on that YouTube. You could be the next one. Click the button. Do it.
Very cool.
Please.
Yes, we're trying to get more people on the YouTubes. Come see our beautiful faces. Although I understand that sometimes it's just easier to listen to an audio.
Well, drop the comments wherever you're at. If you're on Spotify, you're on wherever. If there's a 5-star review you want to leave, do that, please. Drop the comments. We want your comments, questions, concerns, feedback, good and bad. We want to hear. I listen to it. I watch all of it, and we make changes because of it. So
can you tell he's the producer?
Wow, come on now.
No, it's good. We need to remind the audience to do that, because sometimes Tom and I forget, and we're just we're going to talk about the soccer. People listen to this.
Yeah, we're building a community, though. And I think that is it's a two-way street. It's not just us yelling in microphones. We want to hear from you. So
it's partly us yelling in microphones.
Yeah, but I think it's good too. If you're a fan, if you're a listener, if you're a fan of the Sun, this is another place that you can let your voice be heard. And you're not just screaming into the ether. You're talking to us, and we love the team just as much as you do. So
yes, I've had some people contact me, one person in particular, about my scarf collection. People are very jealous of my Super League Tampa Bay scarf from before we even had a name.
I should have wore that tonight. Oh, that is a hell of a collection back there. I love it.
Yeah. No, it's good. Even with this loss, it's good to be a Tampa Bay Sun fan.
I'm still basking in the sunlight, but I'm still basking in the glow of this. We've had most teams have played 4 to 5 games, other than Brooklyn. We're looking right at you. But they beat us. So what does that say? But it has been nice. Peacock, I think, has been good.
Yeah,
as a platform.
Peacock is good. I wish the rewind feature was less annoying.
Sure.
But all in one place is still better than when I have to go look for an NWSL game. And it's which of 8 streaming services is it on tonight?
We'll talk about them too a little bit towards the end of the show, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's been good. Watching Spokane and Lexington and Dallas and everyone has been it's been good because while there's not a million teams in the league, you can watch every game in a weekend and kind of keep up and know what's going on with all the other teams without much extra effort. So
yeah, that is nice. Honestly, just like to this weekend is a little annoying because there's 2 games that start an hour right after each other. Which is like scheduling why, but okay.
Yeah.
So I'll have to rewatch one of them. But normally, most weekends you don't have to. None of them overlap too much, and you can just watch one, and then maybe an hour or so goes by, and you can watch the other one. Yeah.
Well, I guess the last thing you said overlap, and I do want to get your opinion. This was one of the games we had overlap of the Rowdies and the Sun playing at the same time.
Yes, that was unfortunate. I saw more people than I really wanted to see in the Heatwave Ticket Exchange channel. Which, by the way, join the Heatwave so you can get free tickets if you want when people give them away. They will just give them away. That's the nicest part about the Ticket Exchange.
Yeah, I think, I guess, because I know some people do watch our podcast from around the league, and I think, unfortunately, it was a lose-lose scenario. I guarantee you there were people that went to St. Pete, or the people that live in St. Pete decided not to drive to Tampa because they wanted to, they chose the Rowdies. And there's people in Tampa that wanted to see the Rowdies, and they chose not to drive to St. Pete because they were in Tampa, and they went to the Sun. That means that as a fan, I feel like I had to make a choice. And I feel like I missed out on the live experience of going to the Rowdies, or vice versa. People that didn't go to the Sun, they wanted to be there. They want to. The thousands of people who didn't show up to this game that showed up to the first game, that want to support the Sun, want to do this, want to be part of this historic first, and they had to, in the first month of the season, decide to not come to the game because we had the same league schedule, the same, there's a product against itself. So the fans lose, the Sun lose, the Rowdies lose, everybody loses, unfortunately. So like myself personally, I was at the Sun game covering it, and then I had to go home and was ready to fire up ESPN Plus and listen to Ryan Davis and Drew Felios call the Rowdies game. And then I get to see them cutting to like Mike on the drums, or people that are there, and all my friends are on the TV. And now I got a second wave of being like, I missed out because I didn't get to hang out with my friends at the Rowdies game. Anyway, it was just, I think that fans shouldn't have to go through that, especially when you have this market. There should be more synergy. There shouldn't be competition with itself. It should just make sense, regardless if the teams are related or working with each other or not.
It's the Tampa Bay same company.
Tampa Bay shouldn't have to worry about choosing which team they want to go support. So, okay, here's my soapbox. I'm off of it. But I think that it was a lose.
Yeah, it's a bummer, honestly, because like I had to make the decision of like me and my significant other who he drums for the Rowdies.
Yeah.
And we had to split up because he's got to go drum for the Rowdies. Any other time he'd be at the Sun game if the Rowdies weren't playing, but he's got obligations, which totally understand. I can't fault him for that. And like there were some other folks who said, well, like you said, I'm not going to drive to Tampa if I could just drive to St. Pete and also get perfectly good soccer.
Yeah.
So it's sucky, and I'm hoping maybe it's just a first half season issue and not a second half moving forward season issue.
Yeah. Well, we're about to have Rowdies playoffs here pretty soon, so we'll see.
So that gets dicier, and I can't really fault them for that. When those kind of overlaps happen, playoff stuff.
I agree.
There's nothing you can do about that. I mean, if the Rowdies make the playoffs, they should make the playoffs at least.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're in solid position to do that. So
okay, yeah. Anything after that will be kind of sucky, overlap wise. But I think there's only like one game. I think a home game in the whole month of October. So,
but like I know, I mean, I guess here's my soapbox again. I do know that the vibes, and that's something we could talk about. In the Sun game, the vibes, it was a little the team probably could have used a little more crowd reaction.
Yeah.
And I know personally that at least 3 of the most crowd, the people that would have been in the supporter section chanting and yelling and singing and screaming and doing all those things, they weren't there for a number of reasons. But one of them was because some of them were at the Rowdies games, and I think that, again, that hurts because now the Heat Wave they are customer, right? Like, we are customers of the Sun, but we're also kind of a feature of the stadium, right? Like, so if I'm a random person coming to that experience and I'm like, oh, what's this women's soccer thing about? And the more people that are chanting, cheering, smoke, tifo, flags waving, drums banging, the more I'm into it, because you can hear the heat wave across the entire stadium. And that's how it should be. We should want that, because inevitably we do want people to be like, oh, I'm going to sing and chant and cheer and call and response and all this kind of stuff. And then the whole stadium is now rocking and raving, and it sounds better on television and it looks better on television, and it makes it more of an entertaining product. Not that everyone that was there wasn't doing their best, but more is more in that situation. And again, some people had to choose whether or not to go to the Rowdies or the Sun. So I don't know, you're just diluting the experience.
I think the official numbers were still just a little bit over 3,000. And I'm okay with that personally. That's what, 2/3.
It's a good number. 32. At 30, it was like 32 something.
Yeah.
Where 53 is your capacity. So
yeah. So I'm okay with that. That's not too bad. Once we dip below 3, I might get a little nervous, honestly.
It's still better than some of the other leagues. I don't want to have that. I don't want to have that long conversation. But yeah, there's been some.
I agree.
Hiccups in the number. I mean, we had some granted, we expected that, I think, to have very high highs.
Oh yeah.
And some people have cratered down under that. So, but I think the Sun are doing just fine. They're the least of the worries that I know from me and covering the league.
And we still did have a really good crowd the other night. Like, even when we were down a goal, we still got the heat wave. Christina Uncle came over and she's like, hey guys, we really need you to get a chant going again. Get the Tampa Bay going again. We got the whole stadium doing it. Like, people are into it. The people who go are committed, and I appreciate that a lot.
Yes. No, heat wave's killing it. And then I walk around the entire stadium, the entire game, and it's like seeing Christina Uncle getting the hype crew. I don't even know what their name is, but with the flags, like they were on the other side of the stadium, they were trying to get Vamos Tampa Bay going.
We decided in the heat wave, it's the reason it did not work is because you can only do things with groups in 2 parts. Yeah, because otherwise the reverberation gets all off.
Yeah, it's too many syllables. It can't be. It's not a 3-parter. Vamos Tampa Bay. Like it needs to be Vamos Tampa or something. Or I'm with you.
Crowds can only do 2-parters. I would even argue, like in the mob, we that's why we do call and response or something like that.
Yes. Well, maybe we've belayed.
Danced around it enough.
Yeah, I think we've danced enough.
So we played Brooklyn. We lost.
That we did.
It was poopy.
It was not fun. I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong.
No, yeah, but like it was poopy otherwise.
It was nail biting until the end for sure. I mean, I guess let me just get the cold hard facts out of the way.
Give me the facts.
Both teams high press. We know Brooklyn's physical. They were physical in their first game. They came in here exactly the way we thought they were going to be. A goal was scored at 23 minutes. Isabel Cox gets around the back line. They give up a soft goal. Carly Giamona gets a yellow card a few minutes later. We go into halftime 1-0. The score remains that, even though Ashley Clark gets a yellow card in the 82nd, and Brooke Hendricks gets a yellow card in stoppage time. But if you look at the stats from here, Tampa Bay Sun, they owned possession 60-40. There was 50-50 on aerial duels. It was 42-57 duels success rate. Brooklyn just a little bit better in dueling success. Both teams had more than 5 interceptions. And actually what's crazy is the Sun had 7 corner opportunities to Brooklyn's 4. So if you look at most of those stats, we've got more possession, we've got more passes, we've got just about the same amount of crosses. We have more shots, we have more shots on target, we have more shots that were blocked. We have a pretty equal distribution of shots inside the box at 8 versus 6 outside the box, where Brooklyn had 6 total shots. Defense, Brooklyn did a little bit better, but they were mostly clearing out our crosses. They were clearing out us getting into the box. They were clearing out those. They were intercepting our passes as we were trying to be on the attack. But 3 yellow cards for the Sun to none for Brooklyn, and both teams conceded.
Got none?
They got no yellow cards. Brooklyn, none. 3-0. And I think that speaks to our aggressiveness. We can get into that at some point, but those are the facts. I mean, the stats kind of tell you that this was a even, if not, game where we had the majority of the chances. We were creating the pressure, and we hit the woodwork. They won't show us shots on target when they hit the crossbar, but we had one for sure hit the inside of the crossbar and not make it. We had another one just clear the crossbar a little bit before that, and but all night it was us, especially in the second half. We can get into what Coach said about it in the post game later on, but those are the facts. The facts were we were right in it, and only 1 goal is the difference, and Tampa Bay gets their first loss in franchise history.
Not the history I wanted to witness.
Yeah, you were there. We were there for that. Mm-hmm. Well, I would say so. Liz, those were just the facts. That was kind of the quick hit. What did you see more of on a minute by minute basis?
Okay, so immediately right off the bat, you can tell Brooklyn is not playing like Lexington. Brooklyn is a very different team than Lexington. They have a completely different plan of attack. They watched that Lexington game. They were like, oh, Lexington did this, this, and this. We know what to fix. Because my God, they had our number just from the beginning. They had our number from the beginning. They really, really did. Brooklyn was on high press right at the start. They had great feet all around, which is a weird thing to say, but like their passing, we were really fluid. In the second minute, they got the ball from Dewara.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen a lot.
Right.
Like, she's so silky and smooth on the ball. Like, the ball doesn't get stolen from her very easily. Not recently, at least, or from what I've seen.
Yeah.
We have Orcus and Edmonds keep one of the possible goals out, but that same attacking form of how they come in on the right side ends up being, I believe, how we get that one and only goal against us. Unfortunately, it is the same save. It's on the right side of the defense. We do it again. In the 8th minute, there's a missed header completely into the box, which is a bummer. We're just not in the right place at the right time. It seems to be a really common theme, honestly. Yeah. So Brooklyn's game plan, I kind of noticed, was just mob anyone with the ball, especially Sydney Nasello. They are like, okay, they have the ball. Everyone in the surrounding area goes after them, if only just to add pressure, not even to add like a touch, just to add pressure. And that really threw us off. Where was I on my notes? Sorry. So while we're passing, even when we're doing our little, sorry, what were you saying?
No, you're killing it. No, this is
okay,
good.
Cool. Even when we're passing in the back line, which is something that we did a lot with Lexington. We kind of took our time. We hung back. We waited for Lexington to kind of come to us. As soon as we're out of our final third, they are pressing. There is no hesitation. There is no wait. It is all get up and go from Brooklyn. Honestly, I noticed that immediately. Like, we had it in the back third, and then they have people right on the edge of that second, where that third ends. Honestly, like almost like right outside the box. They have people just like chilling right there waiting while we were just kind of passing the ball around, trying to come up with a game plan, I guess. If there's only one person, I know. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes.
You're good.
I should make the font bigger. I'm sitting here trying to read.
I mean, you only made it bright purple in your notes, so I don't know why I can't see.
I know, right? Well, I tried to make it a different color than Tom's notes.
Yeah, no, you have a good system. I'm not knocking it.
And if there's only one person who goes towards a Tampa Bay Sun player from the Brooklyn team, there's always like a helper almost immediately. You see, like, okay, if one person's gonna press, okay, if someone's around, someone else swings right in. If only to add only to add a little bit of pressure, make them have to move the ball a little quicker. We were giving them way too much space on their back line. We were not pushing the same way that they were pushing us on our third at all. We were giving them so much space. It was sort of like
waiting them to come to us kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah, which you can't do with Brooklyn. Brooklyn it seems to be, if they're gonna high press, you gotta high press right back. You got to be quick with it. Like it had to be those quick passes that we had kind of with Lexington. And there was a lot that went wrong with this game that I didn't understand. There were a couple of long balls that didn't quite make it to the person because of the person the ball was too far, the person wasn't fast enough, whatever the reason. There was a lot of things that were just off in this game. I don't know what it was. The juju was not there.
We'll get into some of that.
So we're giving them way too much space. Giamona gets a foul, not a card, but the foul, which sucked, but she was trying, which is part of the reason she ends up being my player of the match. We'll get to that a little more later, but she was trying so hard, I feel like, to the point where especially right after Brooklyn gets their goal in the 23rd minute off our defensive right side. I hate to say it, our defense was kind of Swiss cheesy this game. It was not great. We were not as cohesive as we have been in Lexington. We were so nice, so together. We were hunting in packs, but the packs were much wider, which is not good. And I think maybe it's just we just didn't know what to expect from Brooklyn. They had one game under their belt. There's one match tape. You can only do so much with. Which I get. Oh well. Giamona gets another foul for a shirt pull, which was pretty egregious, but no one was there to help her.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was egregious, and she deserved it. But there was no one there to help her, so at least she was doing something. That was me the whole game.
Yeah, sure.
Do something. There's a shot by Riley, which was a really good shot in. It hits off her shin. Good shot, bad touch. Just one of those things that I feel like it was just off the juju of the game. Nothing, things were out of sync. I don't know how else to put it. Sydney Nazello, she runs it up in the 42nd minute. It's the pass, but her pass was her pass to her was too high up in the box. So when she tries to shoot it, it's too high. And Sydney Martinez, beautiful Amazon that she is, of course, can just reaches up and catches it like it's nothing.
She's good. Unfortunately, it sucks so much because you're like,
we
all love her.
So good. Yeah,
she's amazing, USF Bull and everything like that. But at the same time, we needed to put 2 in the net. So
you love to see her. I hate to play against her.
100%.
Yeah. Giamona in the 44th minute has another really good run, but just kind of runs out of gas, which I get. Yeah. She was running, I think, almost from 3/4 to half field. And that's a lot, especially when you're going full force. So she doesn't quite have the legs on her to get that last shot in, which sucks balls. But she did make up for it. I mean, it does. She would say too. She'd be like, "Oh yeah, that did suck." But she makes up for it a minute later with another really good similar run. It just doesn't, no shots into the net, unfortunately.
Yeah. So at halftime, right? I had the pleasure of asking Coach Denise Schulte-Brown and Sydney Nazello in the post game, sort of what happened with that first half. Like at 45, what are you telling the team? And so, because what I noticed in that first half was that we were getting chances, but we were trying to get into the box, but there just wasn't numbers. And that's what Coach Schulte Brown was saying, is that like we would have opportunities and we would have crosses, but there would only be one person in the box. Or we only had, where maybe later on, and we'll get to that, but later on, when we did have opportunities, when we did make gigantic big chances, there was 4 or 5 or more in the box. And the way that our team is built is we are going to have Nasello, and Nasello even said, like, I know Ashley Clark's going to go to the box. I know, and we know that, Riley is just waiting to be a poacher in that box. She wants to create that havoc. I don't really know if Parker's the kind of player that you kind of set her up for a cross to a header or whatever, but she's always in position for the rebound or the second chance or so you kind of, the more and more people that you can put in that box, the better an opportunity, the more chaos that's can happen, the more, if a rebound, if a keeper doesn't make the catch, if they punch it or they try to clear it in a different way, if it goes off a defender and it makes a really weird pinball-y type thing, the more people you have in the box, the more chances. And this is what Coach Brown Schulte Brown was sort of referencing, was like, when we get more people in the box, good things happen for us. And that didn't happen in the first half. I also talked to Sydney Nasello about the fact that she was getting marked so much. And I think what I love is that she said, I love it when, I'm paraphrasing here, but she basically said that she enjoys when other teams mark her, because in her words, it creates more opportunities for her teammates. Like, if 3 people are on me, if we can get around that press, now we know Ashley Clark is in the box. We know that the other people are in there. And so if you can make 1 or 2 passes and now get past that defense and use that to a strength. If she's going to have gravity, I think that's a great thing. I think that we should have taken advantage of that. And unfortunately, I think you brought up a really good point about touch. It was, we just kind of seemed an extra bounce, an extra centimeter, an extra, just a little, everything was just a little off. Some people have said it's because of the turf or whatnot. I still have not dug into the data enough because the Rowdies sort of went through a similar situation earlier this year. And it's so much so that they started practicing on a turf field. Like, they have a turf at their complex. They have grass and turf at their facility. And they switched to the turf to practice a little bit. And so I've been able to ask some of the Rowdies about, like, it does make a difference. Between like how your cleats react to that synthetic turf, to how the ball rolls on it, to all these things that make minor changes to the trajectory of balls, and to the speed of how much you can run, and the timing that you're going to have on passes and crosses and things like that. As much as I know that is true, the players, to a T of them, some of the Sun being some of them too, but also the Rowdies, pretty much, they say, it is what it is. It is a difference, but it can't be an excuse. Like, we can't sit there and say, like, because the ball hitting your leg is going to be the same. It hasn't hit the turf yet. It's going to hit your leg. So that's a control issue. And that comes down to positioning or mentality, or getting used to the other people around you, and how their passes are going to affect you and things like that. So unfortunately, it wasn't as crisp and efficient as we wanted it to be in the first half. But they definitely had their chances in the second half, Liz.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's an argument maybe to be made about turf versus grass, but there's also, like, because
I'm still digging into it, though.
We played beautifully at home.
Yes.
When we tied with Dallas, we played, or DC.
Yeah, DC. Yeah.
It was fine. We played great. Long balls were beautiful. Passes were nice and crisp. People were in the right places at the right times. That has nothing to do with the grass.
I agree. The other team plays on the same turf too. So
yeah, exactly. Maybe, and like I said, maybe at the end of the season, that would be an interesting thing to look at statistically, but there's also so many other things that could factor in, like what lineups are, how, where it is in the season. There's so many things.
It's only been 4 games, guys.
Yeah.
And however many weeks before that they actually were kicking soccer balls around.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest with you. So
yeah. So
early days, guys. Early days.
Yeah.
I mean, we all want a reason though. So I get it. I get why people are saying that. I'm just like, let's pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're 4 games in. We've got 5 points in 4 games. We're sitting at 3rd.
Yeah,
we're doing okay.
Yeah.
We're doing okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was excited in the second half, right? So I was moving. I mean, I guess in your notes, the first thing that happened,
literally 51st minute, Brooklyn almost scores again.
So I was on that side. I had moved to the other bleacher on the other side, and I had a direct line to this. So they send that cross in from their left side into the box, and Edmonds, like I'd have to look at the rewatch, but from my vantage point, I saw the ball come up and she tracks it and then lurches into a header and puts a beautiful header on this ball directly into a confused and startled Ashley Orcus. She makes a killer save. I mean, it was a killer save on a great header the wrong way that would have been a Sports Center not top 10. It would have been, unfortunately, the signature play of this game if she would have nailed that one home. But thankfully, the brick wall that is Ashley Orcus stopped the own goal from happening, and embarrassment for all of us, including
all hail Ashley Orcus.
Yes, yeah.
All hail.
I mean, it was a hell of a header, though.
Oh my god! Yeah, no, absolutely.
Perfect form.
On the other side of the field, I would have loved it.
It would have been amazing. So yeah, she's just she's keeping her on her toes, though. Yikes! Yikes!
Too much. We could make Ashley Orcus work a little less hard during the game.
Yeah.
So we do play a little bit tighter, a little bit more compact. Brooklyn's not able to break us up as much in that first 10 minutes of of the second half. But we're still not pressing very hard. It doesn't, like I said, something's not there. I don't know if like we didn't eat like our breakfast that morning, or we didn't do like our pregame rituals or something. Whatever we didn't do that day, we got to make sure we do it in the next game. Whatever we did for Lexington, let's do that again.
Yeah.
Because it's just Nacello, like even then going in, we have Nacello's dribbling in the 54th minute. It's on par with none. Okay, but her passing, it's not right. It's just off. Her passing is not, it's off. She passes, it overshoots, which is very unusual for her. She's so on it. Like I can almost always count on her for that. But today it was, or that day it was not working. There's a released ball. It doesn't makes the cross doesn't connect. It's more accurate, still not on target.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I hate to say that I there's a lot less notes for the second half because we didn't do a lot. Yeah. Like I jumped to the 68th minute. We're not pressing. We're just kind of following them around. Like we're not doing anything. We're just like, there's the ball. There's the ball.
Yeah, I mean, so Brooklyn comes out of the second half, in the beginning of the second half, a little bit more purpose, I think. But I think the Sun are just sort of cramping up, to be honest with you. I think that they made a bunch of substitution. I'm trying to see when the subs started coming in. I mean, Sawale comes out at 61. Mattingly comes out at 61. Sienna Bryan comes in for Viv Bissett, who took one off the dome and had to get stitches. I don't know if you saw her walking by the heat wave, but she had to go get stitches.
Shout out to Viv Bissett. taking one for the team.
She's a trooper, but she
Yeah.
comes off at 65. Then Brooklyn doesn't make their first substitution until the 70th minute.
Which
And
is
then,
wild.
Giamona comes in at 76, which is about right. They make some 80th minute substitutions, and we bring in Domi Richardson at 87. Finally, Listro goes off. But we're making immediate substitutions, and Coach Schulte Brown kind of reiterated that fact. She's saying we had some cramping, we had some issues physically in the second half, but it is sort of after we make that, bringing Sienna in, bringing Hawksdaughter in, which she's making her debut, bringing Ashley Clark in. Ashley Clark, I think, is a huge offensive boon to this team after 61. I mean, all season.
She doesn't start soon, honestly. She should
We'll
be
see.
starting.
Yeah, we'll see. Immediately at 61, I'm trying to look at your notes, but around about 10 minutes after she comes in, we get a killer chance from Sydney Nacello crossing into somebody, I think.
Yeah, that's the one that bounces off the crossbar. Oh my God, you should you hear the crowd on the thing, you just go, oh.
Yeah. But at this point, like, I see your notes, we are tired, we are going in, but even that second half is the only thing I can really remember in the second half is us shooting the ball. And even though, and I think maybe Brooklyn, even if they are getting the ball and kind of making us chase around to get it, they're sort of killing the time, earning the points. They've had the goal, and they're just trying not to die, because those final 10 minutes, I'd have to look.
Yeah,
but I think all your
probably
notes,
the most exciting for the entire second half. We have 83rd minute, we're getting a little frantic. Edmonds is looking better overall this whole half. 90th minute, I just had to part this down. Hawksdaughter, it's just the most beautiful slide tackle, like just textbook. And just to make your debut, and then it's just I love it, honestly. And then the 93rd minute, Stouty has a shot, misses. Stouty is getting a pass, misses. Brooklyn makes a big shot. Thank God for Orcus, comes up huge. Because you can tell we have very tired defenders, and then that is the end, and poop, we lost.
So what are your overall thoughts on the game? Like
Brooklyn was irritatingly better than us.
Okay.
They had our number. They watched our game tape. They knew exactly what to do, and then we did not have. We either we had a plan and we just did not execute it.
Yeah.
Or, like I said, it's something was off.
Yeah. I think the second part of what you said is more to it, because what Coach said, in Coach's words, they gave up one soft goal and they shot all the shots in the world. They just didn't. She's like, that happens,
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel that they were mad about the game. I don't feel that they felt like they didn't do what they needed to do to win. It's just that they did play soft.
The defense did what they needed to do.
They played soft sorry, I should probably not cuss like that, but they played soft defense at least one play of the game, and it hurt them, and a goal went in. And we've seen, unfortunately, that happen a few times. Thankfully, we have a goalkeeper that has kept most of them out of the net, but if other teams had scored one or two more goals against us, I don't think we would have said that wasn't deserved. And in this game, only one goal goes in. But I don't think Orcus had to stand on her head the whole game. I don't think that she made great saves, don't get me wrong, but I don't think this is in the same vein as the Dallas game or the DC game, where she had to make some shots and Ashley Orcus isn't the player of the match because she didn't have to be, but unfortunately it's because Brooklyn just didn't have a bajillion chances, and the one they put in the net was soft defense from that side, from the back line. And Coach agreed with that. Coach said that was a soft goal, and we had more chances. We were the aggressor. We were the ones making the things happen. We were the That was her words that she said. And as much as that kind of melees in the second half when people start kind of dropping like flies, I definitely agree. Towards the beginning of the game, they had chances, but no one was in the box. Then they sort of started shooting a little bit more out of the box. They started trying to create wherever they could, getting some reinforcements in there towards the end of the game made it a better opportunity. And I mean, if they connect on one or two of those shots, we're not talking about turf. We're not talking about bad defense. We're not talking about any of these little things that we're going to nitpick. I wish I could hit the score a goal button and we would score the goal, but the process sort of seemed okay. Just needed to execute better. Like you brought up the great point. The passes need to be crisper in this game. For some reason, they weren't. The crosses weren't there. The people weren't in positions. For some, we just couldn't make good first touch on a few balls and things like that. So those are all things that we hope. Those are things you can control. Like, I don't think there was a lot in this game that we were just unlucky that it happened. I think we put ourselves in positions and you execute 4 millimeters this way and so on and so forth a few more times. You put one, maybe two in the net and earn a result. So I wasn't upset at this. I mean, it was a bummer that we didn't win, but
but I'm not like, I'm angry about
I
it.
don't.
Like,
It doesn't.
there's been some Rowdies wins, but I've just been like, why y'all playing like poop? Why you're just playing like poop?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, we're
Yeah. I'm surprised with Brooklyn. I think they played, and we asked Coach Schulte Brown too about like, hey, was it really difficult to like game plan against this team? And she said no. Now, I think that Coach Schulte Brown is the kind of leader that will stand up and take the blame and would never say that they were like miscalculating or didn't take them seriously or didn't have game tape on them. Like, they said, we know these players. We saw their game. They did what we thought they were going to do. And she just chalks it up to execution, which in this instance, I will agree with her for the most part. I mean, you don't know what they're going to do, but after the first 45, you go, oh, okay, within the first 10 minutes of the game, we knew what they were doing. Like, I mean, you brought it up perfectly about like, well, they were physical and they pressed last time. Guess what they're doing this time? And we just didn't have the answers or the execution to get around it for one goal or more. So, yeah, I don't know. Now you had said your player of the match. I think you already spoiled it, but who is your player of the match?
Is Giamona.
All right.
Yes, because player of the W.
Player of the week. Sorry, I put
player of the week. I was like, what's the?
Let me.
No, you're fine.
I would say dyslexic, but that's upside down. So how about player of the match?
That's all good.
It's an M. It's an M. It's just
I thought she had the most get up and go for the most part. Like I said, she had a couple of runs that were really, really good. There was one she kind of ran out of gas, but I still give her something for that because she ran till she ran out of gas.
Yeah.
And I give it as if you're given 110%, that's all I care about. And I feel like that was Carly Giamona in this game for sure.
Yeah, if you look at Giamona, 94.4, 18 passes, 95% of them were accurate. In the opponent's half, 90% passing accuracy. She made 2 long passes. She got involved defensively on the attack. You know, she had one of the few shots on target that we had, but she had 3 more chances. She had one that was blocked. She is credited with 2 chances created, meaning like gigantic assists opportunities that she created. She was getting in there. I mean, she did foul a couple times, but she picked up that yellow card, but like you said, she's at least trying. She's at least getting in there. And I think the stats belie that fact for sure. So I agree. I'm with you.
Yeah. And that's not to say that anyone else played poorly or anything like that. She is my standout, my
Gotta pick one.
Holy crap! Thank God for you this match.
You gotta pick one. She
Yeah.
was it. So I dig that.
It's hard to pick one of all my favorites.
Well, another place that's hard to pick one of your favorites, and you don't really have to choose just one. You can pick as many t-shirts as you want at shop.rblrsports.com. If you like the stuff that's inspired by the Sun or the Rowdies or the Lightning or the Bucks or the Rays, all the t-shirts and hats and stuff are there. They're waiting for you. So you could pick whatever you want. And you know what? They didn't win this week, but we'll still celebrate with use promo code HEATWAVE. You're going to get 10% off everything you want. You put everything in your cart. You put HEATWAVE, 10% just drops off. Boop, 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 boop. And there you go. And now you've got enough savings to then go to the HEATWAVE Discord and pick up one of those tickets on the exchange.
Yes.
See, look at that. Look at that. You're making money, guys. But all jokes aside, we work really hard to make these designs, and we really hope that they're fun and that you enjoy them and they celebrate the culture and the fandom that it is to be surrounded by all of these teams in Tampa Bay. So shop.rblrsports.com. Use promo code HEATWAVE. You're going to get 10% off, and links are in the description.
Solid.
That's how you do
smooth.
it. That's how you do it.
That's how you do a transition.
I practice that in the mirror. Yeah. I was waiting for my opportunity. I was like, what are you going to say that lets me jump into a shop ad?
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Guys, StreamYard's up in there. The StreamYard's going, it got double as expensive. So we got to keep the lights on. We want to keep the live stream going. Buy a t-shirt. It helps us out.
Yeah.
Helps us out.
We did have I didn't put it in the show notes and I should have, but we did have 3 internationals as of today, the 20th, arrive this week. Yay, our internationals, they're getting their visas.
Yes.
So we had Tosh Flint and her wife fly in. They were, oh my God, they must have been they were so exhausted. I didn't realize it, but we greeted them at the airport. And they'd been flying for 18 hours. I felt so bad for them, but she's so cute. She was like, oh, I would hug you, but I've got dog wee on me. And she said dog wee.
new t-shirt,
so
new t-shirt at shop.rblrsports.com.
Oh.
I've got dog wee on me.
It was so cute. She's got 2 little wiener dogs. They're very cute.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
That's awesome.
She was incredibly gracious, very, very nice considering she just gotten off a plane. And then, like she said, was covered in dog pee. And as soon as she put her dog down, he immediately pooped on the ground. So you can tell that dog was stressed.
Who hasn't? at Tampa International Airport. Who hasn't? It's like the 2 things. You see the flamingo, you poop on the floor.
Yep, exactly. They
already know our traditions, guys.
Yep.
That's great. They're Tampa Bay already, guys.
Yep.
They're in it. I'm so happy. I'm so happy about this.
Yes, I am too. I am very much hoping that she will be in the Carolina game. Not this week, but the week after. Yeah. Which we will review.
Next week we'll have a preview.
I couldn't remember the word preview. I was like pre-review.
It's a W and an M.
We're gonna pre-review something.
We're gonna pre-review it.
I have a college degree. Can you believe it?
That's great. Is it pre-reviewology that
yes.
you specialize in? No. So because I would say that look. As harsh as we might be on this performances and some of these things in the past weeks, the truth is some of these players, they're getting opportunities and they're being able to start, but there were people that were penciled in to be starting above some of these players. And I think we have to say that like everyone's doing the best they can with what they've got.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, yeah. But it was going to be great when Tosh and when Jade freaking Moore
and Cecile
Flo Nielsen. Yep. So we had Hawksdaughter come in this week.
Hear her name pronounced.
Like it was good to see Hawksdaughter this week.
Yes, Hawksdaughter making her debut is super awesome. I'm very happy about that. Like I said, she had a beautiful slide tackle. I'm happy for her because I think she's been here, but then she was just waiting on the work visa, which is like, oh, it's almost worse than waiting on the whole thing, because then you're just sitting here literally watching it, as opposed to like, at least like if you're watching it through a screen, it's not just like happening in front of your face.
Yeah.
Because she said one of the staff did say that it's been really tough for the internationals, because they see it and they want to be there and they want to be playing, and they see their teammates and they're like, I want to be there.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's like, you should be here. And we've known with even the players that are injured, there's still, I mean, Yuki Watari still was on the sidelines and walking around and things like that. Like these, and Hannah Keene too. Hannah Keene's still definitely part of this team. I think the team has done a good job in creating that every member of the team, every player is every player has a value, whether that's on the pitch or not.
Yeah.
We still want Yuki around. She's still like we see the social media stuff, and she's making people smile and laugh. She's just got a great energy, and she is a person that all the players should look up to, and she can do that whether that's on a crutch or not. Like it's still all this value. And as an international, you're watching this on Zoom and Peacock or whatever whatever they got over there to watch the game. They're on the USL Super League YouTube on the VPN, maybe, I don't know. And they're doing their best, and but being on Instagram and being like, hell yeah, and sending a FaceTime being like, whoa, we love you, good job. Like, it's different when they walk in the building, which we saw this week. Because this is a lot of international experience that we're bringing in after a month into the season. So good for us. Yeah.
Oh, and it was so cute. I think it was Tosh Flint's cousin found the Heatwave Instagram, I guess, because we got tagged, and she was like, she was saying something about how she's so excited to come out and see her cousin in like January. I'm like, okay, well, make sure you come find us for sure, and in the meantime we'll have plenty of we'll be chanting, and there'll be smoke and all that for her. And she was so happy. It was really cute. Honestly, the players' families are really involved too, and I love that.
I love it.
Like you see them. I think it's, shoot, I can't remember who. One of the players' moms likes everything, and it's adorable.
Yeah, we get that. Well, and so we get that here at RBLR, is like on all the socials at RBLR Sun FC on all the socials. Like we will see the players, but also like everyone with similar last names and things like that. And like in like family names, before marriages and stuff like that. We start seeing all those people start liking our stuff. And we love it. Like, I know James has been walking around wearing one of the RBLR Sports hats and things like that, and he gets stopped by, I think, I don't want to out them, but like he gets stopped by some of the family members and like, hey, we love you guys, and like they listen to the podcast and all that stuff. It's like, well, of course, like, because we're giving you more of your daughter, we're giving you more of the team and things like that. So I love it. Yeah, it's a little surreal to see all them people interacting and liking and sharing and responding and commenting and DMing and all this stuff. But it's going to be even better now that, like, because I mean, Hawksdaughter, people were walking around with Hawksdaughter jerseys on that I'm sure were family members. But it's like, hell yeah, like I want to see that. I want to see Flint. I want to see more. I want to see.
As far as I know, only player families have monogrammed jerseys.
All right.
Monogrammed is not the right word, but you know what I mean.
Personalized jerseys.
Sure. Which, speaking of, if anyone is still watching from the Sun, I need an Ashley Orcus pink kit like yesterday.
We need to, if Brooklyn can sell their
home and away.
Yeah, they're dope.
I need an Ashley Orcus pink kit now. Yeah. Now I want a pink kit so bad.
Let's see. As we got a few minutes here, there were a couple big. We didn't do a preview this week. We didn't do a pre-review this week because we will do a pre-review next week.
Yes.
Of the game, but we can take maybe a couple minutes here to talk about sort of big picture things. There were a couple. I guess the biggest thing is the league did put out no one has a byline here. It just says by USLSuperLeague.com staff. It might be Nicholas Murray. He writes a lot for the USL. But basically, every team was assigned a strength and a weakness. And I'm going to run these by you. You tell me if if you agree or disagree with Tampa Bay Sun FC's strength being creating chances and weakness is offensive and defensive inefficiency. And here's what they say. Whoever wrote this article writes that, like Spokane, Tampa Bay likes to possess and build out of the back. It averages 54% possession, 81.3 pass completion. The group, specifically Sidney Nacello and Carly Giamona, is great at switching the field and playing passes through or over the top for attackers to run onto. However, Tampa has dropped points this season by either not putting chances away or not defending well enough. Despite having the most shots and second most shots on target, the scoreboard has not been reflecting its attacking potential. On the other end, the Sun has the highest goals expected against mark, struggles to defend without fouling, and has relied a lot on goalkeeper Ashley Orcus. Inefficiency on one end of the field or the other is manageable, but problems on both can be a cause for concern. How spot on is that, and would you tweak any of that assessment?
It's fairly accurate. I would say, I don't know how I don't think we're that inefficient up front. We're definitely more inefficient on our defense.
Yeah,
I would say, for sure. I still think, like, I mean, they're basing this off now, the game that we just talked about. And like I said, I think we just didn't like eat our Wheaties that day or something.
Yeah.
Like it was just an off day. I'm not worried. He's not wrong. It is bad. That is why we lost, because there were problems at the back and the front.
Yeah.
And it was only by the grace of Ashley Orcus that we didn't lose worse. And like I said, our goal, we have the highest expected goals against.
Yes.
So that means we are the most likely to be shot on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a little over a goal expected a game that it's 5.52 goals, expected goals against.
Okay.
Cumulative through the entire season. So
yeah,
a little over a goal. And I would agree with that. Again, like it's early days. What has happened, and this is my tweaking that I would make of that real assessment, is that is a fair assessment of what has happened. Okay. But to say that is the weakness of this team, I think, again, now I hope every team is different and better as the year goes along, but I think the Sun specifically, you're going to say things like, oh, wow, after the first 5 games, they gave up this many goals and they were expected to give up. But since the arrival of defensive stalwart this person and offensive maven this person, and we actually get our top signed players on the team, that those sort of inefficiencies will work itself out. So one of these games we're going to drop 6 goals on somebody and we're going to be like, oh, there it is,
yeah.
So, and it looked like that.
I can't wait for that game. Can that happen in Carolina?
Yeah,
I doubt it, but that would be nice.
I checked the board. We can allow it.
All right. Yeah. There's room in the schedule.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Looks good to me. So yeah, I thought that was fun. The other last thing I guess we'll get to is there was a ESPN article, which is awesome because let's be honest, the Super League hasn't been covered as widely as it could be and should be. We are first division that we're talking about here.
Although to be fair, AI now writes NWSL recaps, so
that has nothing to do with. I mean, I hope ESPN isn't doing the same thing, but I mean,
no, it's not. No, that's ESPN doing that.
I mean, recaps are one thing. This was this. This was this. This was this.
I'd rather get no coverage than AI.
I know you're a big anti-AI person. I get it, but there's you're telling me there's not one person that's on the USL Super League beat. There's not one person that goes like, okay, maybe they don't write.
There isn't one person doing it at our local paper.
Well, that's why we exist. I mean, we're here.
Well,
we're
no, but that's what I mean. Like, people are not taking it seriously.
Right. So when this kind of got passed around that this was a real person, I'm assuming Jeff Kassouf was a real person that wrote a real article with quotes from Amanda Vandervoort and things about it's just that this is the kind of article that is like a preseason article, not a month into the season article. That is the USL Super League a threat to the NWSL or a potential partner, right? And so Amanda Vandervoort basically
we've already been doing trades.
Vandervoort basically has from the beginning been she came on this show and we asked her about it. And I think she's been 100% about they're doing their own thing in their own lane, which is why they went for first division. And I think that this is my thought, but I think they're banking on they don't need to be. There's a saying running around that you can either be greater than, less than, or different than. And I believe they're trying to be different than the NWSL. We don't have American style drafts and free agencies and things like that. This league is patterned after the world's game, the European style of how we do. With the schedule is the same. And I think that they're banking on that to be different than the NWSL in certain ways that will eventually become beneficial for themselves. Is it a zero-sum game, though? Like, does the NWSL lose because USL wins, or is there room? I guess that's my question, is because even this article can't answer that, but both NWSL and USL have been sort of towing that line of saying like, nah, we're just different. We're just two sides of the same coin. Division I women's soccer, and more is more. So that's my question to you, I guess, is do you, even after a month or more now, and we've seen USL play games, do you think that there's room for two leagues, or do you think that the USL should be in any way, shape, or form threatened by the NWSL, or vice versa?
Well, I mean, technically, we should always be threatened by the NWSL because they are a behemoth. They know what they're established.
Sure.
But like, technically, yeah, they are our competitor, but we're also not competing in any of the same markets.
Yeah.
Obviously did that on purpose.
Right.
I think the fact that we chose different market. Now, if we start being like, what is it? Yeah, like LA has the Galaxy and they have LAFC. If we start doing something like that, that would be a different conversation entirely.
Yeah.
But so far we've stayed out of their market. We've stayed out of similar markets. We've gone for our own ones commonly ignored by the NWSL. We're making player trades within. I think it's beneficial, honestly. If anything, we could just be, I hate to make us sound like a B league, but we are a little bit of like a 1A, 1B thing just for now.
Yeah.
We're getting our legs. But if anything, we are a place for their players to be close by if they need them and they want to trade them back or they want to pull them back.
Yeah. The visa thing, I think, made that more of a necessity than I think the USL wanted it to be.
Yeah.
In my opinion only. I don't have I'm not reporting on that, but because of the visa issues, we had to go get Stouty, right? Because of the visa issue, we had to go get loans from like Courage and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think that I agree that people will on the outset see the Super League as a less than product right now, right?
Reddit called us the Temu League, and that hurt a little.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying is like, because they were there first, we will it's not we, but the Super League will be shown as the runner up to begin with. And I think that's why I agree with the league strategy of being different by doing things different timetable, different things, because I also believe the players that you're going to be able to get that they don't. A European team doesn't want to loan a player to the NWSL and have them play
a different
schedule than their club team that they're playing. Like, so not that we should be a feeder league too, but it at its early days, it expands the number of women that can be brought into this league. It expands the number of players and the depth, because look, there's still not enough women's teams. That's why a whole league can be brought up
still
from
only 22. What's 14 plus 8? 22?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm bad at math sometimes.
I'll edit it out. I'll edit it either way. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You nailed it the first time. I didn't edit it at all. Yeah.
There's still only 22 teams. How many are in MLS?
Right.
Like a billion?
It's 30. It's not quite 40, but they're working towards it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
yeah.
And that's in one league.
Well, and still, like, again,
and that's with overlap. That's with overlap.
Yeah.
Because there's 2 LA teams.
I'm trying to think. The NWSL has a DC team, don't they?
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. So
okay. I do take that back. I apologize. We do there is some quote unquote market cannibalism there.
Now,
and that does actually lead into one of the things I did see on Reddit, and I won't go super deep into this, but definitely one of the criticisms people have if you're a Spirit fan is that the DC United group owns DC Power, and DC United has never really been a friend to the Washington Spirit. Some people would even say that they've actively worked against them.
Did they pull out, or are they still in there?
What? Oh, they're all out of
DC. Okay, yeah, I know they play there. Who left with the branding? Like who was it? Because I remember when they changed their branding, it was around the same time that like there was an ownership change, and I'm this is off the top of my head. I haven't. Yeah. I should Google this before I get into it, but
no, but I mean, and that's valid. I would definitely see if I was a Spirit fan, I would be like, what the hell is this team doing here?
Well, and
and sharing our stadium.
We might get
we can barely
get. We might get more into this topic in the off season after the season's over, but there's a chance that this experiment doesn't work out, and so there might be teams that are in this league, that do their best, and if the league isn't viable, can still be a franchise, because these are all mostly, other than DC, these are places that the NWSL is not currently in. Mm-hmm. That you could have a ready-made players under contract, fully formed, functionally working stadiums and fan bases and everything, infrastructure that can be translated to NWSL, or vice versa, whatever. If the Super League becomes the dominant American women's league, then we can absorb the Super League could absorb some of those things, and then we'd have one thing that would help is the Open Cup. That would help a lot, is if there was a women's equivalent to the Open Cup, and we could start seeing some of these international players that are playing in the Super League against some of the bright stars that play for the NWSL. Yeah. So I don't know, threat. I don't think it's a threat, because if anything, they need to work together because of some of these realities that might happen. You could trash the Sun all you want, but they might be a franchise that could potentially go to NWSL if for some reason the Super League didn't work out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, I hate to say that it's kind of similar, but I was talking to this about with a friend. Usually in women's sports, you don't have the luxury to like trash on other leagues or trash on other players.
Yeah.
Because we're still trying to get people to respect what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we don't. Yeah. We have to. I would argue that the NWSL they need us as much as we need them. They need us to send. They send some of their second and third string players to us that get that will get more play time.
Yeah.
It's more it's more contracts. Hell, we had, what was it, by the second or third game of Super League or something like
Yeah.
that, or like the fifth game or something, we had 35 players make their professional debuts. It was wild.
Yeah. Again, there's so much talent that exists that is not getting an opportunity. And so as much as it does seem like on its face value, it's like, oh, you're getting these bench players from the NWSL. It's like, but there's only X amount of teams. Like,
yeah, but they're bench players for the NWSL.
Still, like,
yeah,
those bench players should be starting somewhere.
You
like
know who they're bench players for? The gosh dang national team players.
Yeah. It's like, that's what I'm saying is like, that's not, it's like saying that you're a bench player in, like, I mean, MLS is kind of a lower quality from the rest of the world. We're bringing in players from Italy, Spain, you're bringing in players from all around the world that are playing for Arsenal and playing for top divisions in Australia and Scotland and Italy and France and England. And it's like, these are players that are still top quality, because again, we're still not even hitting the bottom of the limit to how many women's teams could be viable in this country. Or even the world.
We signed our second keeper. We signed. It was
Yeah.
like Ashley Orcus was like Big Ten, and then and then our new keeper was like the something or else, the big something or else. I don't know what they're all called. The conferences are called, but it was like the same thing in a different conference.
Yeah.
Same award. Like, there's so many good players.
That's what we're getting at, right? Exactly. It's like, okay, players that were either bench players in the NWSL or they haven't played professionally yet, but are still like the top of their classes out of the collegiate divisions and things like that, that should be getting time, and they could have gone overseas and played, but they can now stay home and play.
Yeah.
And I think that's a win-win for everyone, including the NWSL, because there will be times where they buy a player from the USL because they've played top level soccer. They're around good coaching. They're not afraid of the limelight. They've been in big situations, because the USL is every bit of a first division. So again, we just need to see teams kind of coalesce, including the Sun, and get all the top players, which is happening now that the visas are coming. So I'm still optimistic. I'm still energetic. I've been energized by the Bay, or the Sun has energized the Bay, and I'm part of that.
Yeah.
And so let's go. Vamos Tampa.
Hey.
Yeah, the third one didn't work, but anyway, I had fun. Let's go. I did a podcast.
Yeah. This is your first Sun podcast, right?
Maybe under the Sun banner, but I mean, I did the first USL Super League podcast.
You did.
I did them. So I did the one with the branding. I did the first one ever where we just when we announced we had a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a couple under my belt, but with these colors, look at all this. This is snazzy. Who did that? It's great.
The cool dude.
Man, that whoever produces the show.
Yeah, man.
Give that guy a raise. I give you permission to give that guy a raise. Okay. But anyway, Liz, you're amazing. Thank you for putting up with me on and off the camera. I get to actually say this. In front of the world, is that you and Tom do a great job. Tom's not here, so you do a way better job. Tom, he's okay. You're A1.
You're gonna be saying the same thing when I'm out in a couple
One
weeks.
day I'm gonna sit right here. I'm gonna look dead in this camera. I'm gonna say, Tom DePinto, you're the greatest host of this show. Yeah, but anyway, I hope that all the other people that listen to this agree with me, and I hope that they comment below. I hope that they log
let us
on.
know how you felt about this match. It was a weird one, so tell us how you felt. And what do you think was wrong?
Yeah, was I wrong? I'm more than happy to be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to.
Oh no, I
sit-
meant like, what do you think was wrong with the? Was it
Oh.
like we didn't eat our breakfast? What,
Yeah, it was
what did
definitely
we not
turf,
do?
guys. It was turf. I mean, we'll see. I'm
Yeah.
digging into the research. I'm doing the research.
Yeah.
I will have a statistical analysis at some point about grass versus turf, and I think I figured out a way to devise that.
Okay.
We'll figure. I'm working
All
on
right.
it.
Well,
I'm working.
as they say, vamos Tampa Bay.
Let's go. You were awesome. All right. Well, I guess let's wrap this up. Let's do it.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit all the buttons. Make sure you don't miss the thing. I don't know where the buttons are, but hit them.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.